It's an evening weather update. This is for Saturday, April 5th. This is James Spann. Alabama's weather beginning to change, and we'll finally see that big batch of rain and storms coming in here late tonight and tomorrow, and we'll deal with the dual threat of heavy rain and flooding and a few severe storms. So a lot to talk about this evening, and let's begin with the current situation. I thought I'd begin with the radar, and you can see that we have an organized batch of rain and storms over northern Mississippi and western and middle Tennessee. And within that, we've got a couple of tornado warning polygons in North Mississippi. In fact, let's take a look at those while we're live here at 4:45 on Saturday afternoon. We have one polygon that includes Interstate 22 at Holly Springs, Mississippi. We'll take a look at the velocity display, and again, you can see the reason for the tornado warning right there. And that circulation will be coming up along Interstate 22 in North Mississippi in about 10 to 15 minutes. And again, that will be a little northwest of Holly Springs, and this, of course, is southeast of Memphis. So that is the first tornado warning polygon. Then we have a second one down here that is in the Delta for the potential for what could be a tornado that is north of Sunflower, Mississippi. Again, this is in the Mississippi Delta. This will be passing north of Greenwood. And if that stays intact, that will be coming out here across Interstate 55 in about 45 minutes or so. So, again, a couple of tornado warnings within that line over the northern part of Mississippi. And we have had warnings, tornado warnings in effect near Nashville. Those have now lapsed, and we now have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect up here for the Nashville Metro. In fact, there's a look at that Bode Echo coming into Nashville, and that line of storms could certainly produce some very strong winds. And again, just as we speak, you saw that new tornado warning polygon pop up there. This is for downtown Nashville and points north. This would include Hendersonville and up toward Gallatin. In fact, let's take a look at that. And again, we're getting some range folding in here, but obviously the greatest concern, it's going to be right in through here. And that potential tornado is going to be coming out across the northern part of Nashville, just north of downtown Nashville. And again, that warning just was issued, and that's going to be in effect until 5:30 Central Time this afternoon. So again, the tornado warning in effect there for Davidson, southwestern Sumner, northwestern Wilson, southeastern Cheatham counties. And again, that's the northern part of the Nashville Metro. And again, we will come back to the radar here in just a moment, but let's look ahead to what's going to happen here tonight and tomorrow. And again, it's a classic severe weather setup for April, severe weather heavy rain setup. And notice that the ridge that has been over Alabama, Georgia, the Carolinas, and Florida, beginning to kind of shift to the south and east and break down. And the trough is beginning to lift out. And that whole process means that our weather turns wet and stormy tonight and tomorrow, late tonight and tomorrow. But really, it's a beautiful day today for most of Alabama. Just incredibly nice, warm, summer-like, lots of sunshine. We do have a few spotty showers over West Alabama. You can see those cumulus clouds. That's a visible satellite view. Here's a look at the radar composite across the region. And that organized batch of storms stretching from Middle Tennessee down into North Mississippi, much of Arkansas, and the Arklatex region. Last day, we're going to see numbers like this for a while. Mid to upper 80s again today. Tuscaloosa, 87. And again, tomorrow highs go in the 70s, and by Tuesday and Wednesday morning, many spots will have frost on the ground. We note Memphis is down to 55, and again, you can see the effect of that front, which is just south and east of Memphis. So in addition to the chance of strong to severe storms, we should mention there's a flood watch in effect for the northern two-thirds of Alabama. That's the counties in green on this map. And we also should mention that we technically do have 3 counties up in the northwestern corner of the state under a tornado watch. That would be Lauderdale, Colbert, and Franklin. Most likely it's going to be late tonight before that band of storms gets in here. So it's going to be a while, but ultimately it will get in here. But again, technically, tornado watch for Lauderdale, Colbert, Franklin, and all the maroon counties. Those are flash flood warnings from Shreveport to Little Rock, Memphis, and Dyersburg, Tennessee. There's the big picture. Winter storm warnings in effect. New Mexico, parts of the Texas Panhandle, South Plains. Seen a lot of snow pictures coming out of New Mexico along Interstate 40 this morning. And those flash flood watches extend from northeastern Texas up into southwest Pennsylvania. So here's the severe weather outlook. And remember, this extends through 7 a.m. tomorrow. And there is a little level 4 out of 5 risk here up around North Mississippi and parts of West Tennessee, where that line is coming through now. A level 3 out of 5 risk clipping the northwestern corner of the state, and then a level 2 out of 5 risk almost down to Birmingham. And then after 7 a.m. tomorrow, most of the state and a level 2 out of 5 risk. The area's in yellow on this map. And again, we'll take a look at all the modeling here in just a second. Then on day 3, which is Monday, a marginal risk over parts of North Florida and the South Atlantic coast. So rain amounts for Alabama, and almost all of this will be late tonight and tomorrow into Monday morning. Rain amounts in the 2 to really 4-inch range. And the problem is this thing's not going to zip through here just like that. It's going to move through very slowly. So that's going to open the door for some pretty excessive rain amounts. In fact, you see a few pockets of yellow on that map that would represent some 4-inch rains. So let's go right to the timing of this thing. Model fans, this is the HRRR, the high-resolution rapid refresh, and this is valid tonight at 12 midnight. And again, that's where I was saying it's going to be a while before that main batch gets into northwest Alabama. I know they're isolated storms now, but I'm talking the main area of rain and storms coming in here about midnight tonight, initially in northwest Alabama, around the shoals. And that little line segment will probably scoot across the Tennessee Valley sometime between midnight and 4 a.m. But let's look at the severe weather parameters. 12 midnight tonight, so this is in advance of the line. Instability values are somewhat meager. And obviously, if this was coming through at 3 in the afternoon, it would be different, but it's coming through late at night, so that's a good thing. But still, that's certainly sufficient for strong to severe storms. And the atmosphere is sheared in advance of the line, which opens the door for maybe an isolated tornado or two. This is the significant tornado parameter coming off the HRRR. And I will just say that the high-resolution convection-allowing models have not been in particularly good agreement here. But the idea is the same. And again, you can see some elevated STP values over northwest and west central Alabama at midnight. So again, it's going to be a night of watching these storms carefully. And there could be a tornado warning at midnight or 1, 2, 3 a.m., especially for west or northwest Alabama. And as always, this is why you need to have a good way of getting a tornado warning in the middle of the night. And that's never, of course, an outdoor siren, never. And phones are great, but they often go into the sleep and do not disturb modes, and that's why we preach that everybody should have a weather radio. Then that line, this is 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, the line coming into Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, and Gadsden. And then by 6 o'clock tomorrow evening, it's just slow moving. It's creeping down into southeast Alabama, and even Monday morning. I'm sorry, this is Monday at noon. Not Monday morning, but midday Monday. We've still got rain falling over southeast Alabama, but of course, nothing severe. And this is the general timing. And understand, these are very large windows because the thing is going to be moving so slowly, and we will have rain before and after these windows. But this is the window when you'll have the greatest chance of strong to severe storms and the heaviest rain. North and west of Birmingham, 8 p.m. until 7 a.m., that would include the Tennessee Valley, the Shoals, Huntsville, Athens, Decatur. Then for Birmingham, Montgomery, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, Gadsden, Demopolis, Clanton, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then southeast of Montgomery, 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. And let's hold up here. Let's go back to the radar. We do note that by the way, there's a look at our Nashville rotation. And again, the northern part of Nashville, the metro, is under a tornado warning. That would include Henderson and Gallatin, Tennessee. But let's go back down to the radar closer in, and you can see that we have a new severe thunderstorm warning in effect. This is for an isolated storm that is moving out of Marion County, Alabama, coming up into Franklin and Lawrence counties. In fact, pop the radar on there. You can see everything we're talking about here. So, again, we have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for parts of Franklin, Lawrence, and extreme eastern Colbert counties for that storm that is near Hackleburg. And the storm is noisy. And again, there's absolutely no evidence of a tornado here. This is not a tornado warning. We don't expect any tornado problem in Alabama, if we have one at all, until late tonight. But this storm might be producing some small hail. It really doesn't look like a storm with large hail. And again, looking at the wind velocity product, the winds don't look especially strong. But again, some folks up at the Weather Service in Huntsville believe that it could be possibly severe. Remember, to be severe, you need 58-mile-per-hour winds or greater, or hail 1 inch in diameter or larger. That's the official definition for a severe storm. Only two things can make a storm severe. So again, a severe thunderstorm warning that is in effect for the eastern part of Franklin, the extreme eastern part of Colbert, and northwestern Lawrence counties in northwest Alabama for the storm that's near Hackleburg and Phil Campbell. And again, we stress there is zero evidence of a tornado here. And again, let me take a look at the chat sessions here. The one really nice thing about modern technology is the fact that we can all communicate here. And just looking at some of the data coming in off the Weather Service chat. So again, I just wanted to point that out. Again, that's a severe thunderstorm warning up in northwest Alabama. So back to our timing graphic for the main round, if you will. I just think that with this, the main issue, it's going to be heavy rain and potential flooding. And again, rain amounts in the 2 to 3 inch range, maybe more in spots. And we got the flood watch in effect. And I think it's just mainly going to be just a big, massive rain coming in here with embedded storms. And some of the storms, no doubt, could be strong to severe, again, with some hail and gusty winds. And could there be an isolated tornado? Absolutely. Yes. But again, I want to stress that conditions in Alabama are not like the conditions that they've seen over the past 2 or 3 days in Arkansas and northwest Tennessee and Kentucky, where they've had multiple tornadoes and really big problems there. It's not the same, and it could be more of a heavy rain event for Alabama as opposed to a tornado threat. But as always, you've got to pay close attention. So again, quickly, this is the synoptic scale look tomorrow. And a wave of low pressure develops on the front, and that's part of the problem, is that it's going to take a while for it to move through because of that. And then on Monday, we've still got a chance of rain over southeast Alabama up to maybe early Monday afternoon. And Monday will be a much, much cooler day. Temperatures will hold in the 50s over the northern half of the state, 30 degrees cooler than what we have today. And again, by Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning, we're expecting lows in the 30s in many areas over the northern half of the state with frost. The most widespread frost most likely will be early Wednesday morning. So growers beware. The colder pockets could see a freeze. But then we warm back up. Here's a peek at the temperatures coming off the national blend of models. You can see we'll be in the 70s tomorrow, upper 50s on Monday. And notice Birmingham in the city at 39 on Wednesday. And again, away from the city and the urban heat island effect, many places will get down there in the mid-30s and maybe low 30s, maybe a freeze in spots. But then we're back in the low 80s by the 14th and the 15th. And I do think there's a good chance for many places, this will be the last freeze-frost threat of the season. In fact, after Wednesday morning, we'll give you a thumbs up, plan away, go for it. In fact, here's the long-range guidance just in. This is for April 13th through the 19th. Temperatures above average. We've got the orange shades back on here. So let's go back to the radar and kind of talk about the situation. Again, what you're looking at there is a strong storm near Hackleburg and Phil Campbell. This is up in northwest Alabama, sitting on the Franklin-Marion County line. And that storm is moving to the northeast, and the Weather Service has issued a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for eastern Franklin, far eastern Colbert, and northwestern Lawrence counties. And again, no tornado activity at all here. That's just an isolated storm. Most of Alabama with a beautiful, bright, sunny, warm day today. Of course, the greatest concern, it's what's happening back off to the west with the main batch, and it's going to be a while, hours before it gets in here. So let's take a look at these multiple tornado warning polygons out of the Mississippi Delta region here. In fact, we'll pop on the velocity display, and you can see clearly we've got areas of concern. This is the northern rotation here, and again, that's moving northeast, coming up toward Interstate 55. Interstate 55 is right there. Then the southern circulation is right in through here, and it's also moving northeast as well. So a couple of circulations that are in western Mississippi over the Delta area there, approaching the Interstate 55 corridor, and tornado warnings are in effect there. And let's go to the northern warning, and again, that looks pretty noisy. That's the circulation that's coming up on Interstate 22, just northwest of Holly Springs, Mississippi, and that's pretty broad. That's not really, again, there could be some strong winds in there, but that's not really a classic tornado signature here. So broad rotation crossing Interstate 22, northwest of Holly Springs, Mississippi. And again, that it could certainly tighten back up, but at the moment it does not look like a classic tornado signature. That tornado warning is in effect until 5:15 there, but the more impressive circulations are the ones down to the south, where the air is a bit more unstable. And again, you got this one right here, and this one right here. And both of those are headed toward Interstate 55 in Mississippi, between Grenada and Batesville. And so again, we'll keep a close eye on that. Let's kind of expand everything back out. Again, we're live at 5:01 on Saturday afternoon, and this is kind of a broad view of the whole situation. We've got the big mass of strong to severe storms over Middle Tennessee, down into western Mississippi, and isolated storms are over northwest Alabama. We got that one warning for parts of Franklin, Lawrence, Colbert. Again, no tornado warning at all here. In fact, let's look at some of the other scattered showers over Alabama. We've got the decent little downpour that's right here. This is near the Shelby-Bibb County line between West Blockton and Montevallo on the Cahaba River. Pretty good little shower up toward the northern tip of Lake Tuscaloosa. But again, for most of Alabama, this day has just been incredibly nice. And again, that's the one thunderstorm that's up at Hackleburg, Phil Campbell, that's prompted a warning. And again, we stress no tornado signature here, and quite frankly, the winds don't look that strong. I think the main reason they issued that is for maybe the potential of some hail. So again, late tonight through the day tomorrow, it's going to be another weekend of weather watching these storms. It's somewhat reminiscent of the event we had back on this past Monday, where we had just a lot of rain, we had some small hail, but we did have a couple of tornadoes, including one that came through downtown Dothan. And again, we could certainly see an isolated storm, and we say this a lot, but it's true. You know, if there's only one tornado in the whole state, if there's just one that maybe is down for 3 minutes, but if that thing comes right down your street, that's a big deal to you. And we just encourage everybody to have a good way of getting the warnings. And as always, we remind you that if you're watching this video this far in, I mean, we've been on the air for, let's see here, 18 minutes. You're a weather dweeb, a geek, nerd, dork, weenie, weather weenie. But most people aren't, and I understand that. They're busy. They have things to do. Everybody's busy these days. But you can help us if you know somebody that happens to be in a tornado warning polygon late tonight or tomorrow. Call them, text them, let them know. And you can be a big part of the process. You can actually be a hero in some cases where the weather is violent. So before we wrap it up one more time, let's take a look at these storms that are over western Mississippi. And again, you can see these pretty impressive circulation right here. And that'll be crossing Interstate 55 in Mississippi south of Batesville. The southern circulation is here. It's not quite as well defined, but it's moving along the same track, and the Weather Service in Jackson has tornado warnings in effect for both. And again, obviously, we would not want to be on Interstate 55 right now in Mississippi with those tornado warning polygons up. You know the deal. Respect the polygon. And, of course, for those that are in those, no mobile homes in addition to no cars. And it's one of the greatest challenges we have in the weather enterprise today. We have to be better for people that live in manufactured housing, trailers. We need to give them more lead time. Obviously, they need more places to go, community shelters and things like that. And it's a process, and it's more of it's in addition to physical science, which is what we do, it's a social science kind of thing. But I want to check on that storm at Nashville also, in that a lot of people that follow this page, or YouTube channel and Facebook page, are in that area. A big line of storms blowing through Nashville. And again, you can see that it's bowed out, meaning we've got potential for strong winds. Obviously, the rain is tremendously heavy. And potential for what could be a spin-up tornado in two segments. One that just came through Portland, which is northeast of Nashville, up near the Kentucky state line. And the other is not too far from Hendersonville, Tennessee, which is northeast of Nashville. And we've got a couple of tornado warning polygons in effect there. But again, all up and down that line segment, there certainly could be some strong straight line winds that could be enough to knock down some trees and power lines. So again, that's the situation up in Tennessee. In fact, we'll take a little closer look at this. And the rotation is relatively broad now. We've got this segment that just came through Portland, Tennessee. And we've got the segment right in through here that's near Hendersonville. And both of these are moving northeast. And for Nashville, the downtown Nashville, there's no tornado threat now. The polygon is being shifted out of Nashville. The main concern is just that heavy rain and strong winds, strong straight line winds that have come through there. And, of course, they've seen some tremendous amounts of rain in Nashville over the past 4 days. I mean, it's been a very stagnant pattern with that upper ridge keeping the big massive storms basically in the same area. So one more time before we go, this is the big picture. And again, we are live at 5:06 on Saturday, April 5th. Isolated storms over Alabama. Most of Alabama with a sunny, warm Saturday, like summertime. We have the organized batch of storms over West Tennessee and North Mississippi. And understand it's going to be hours before that gets into northwest Alabama, probably close to midnight tonight, 6-7 hours away. And then the line will slowly progress down through the state after midnight tonight and during the day tomorrow. And it still could be raining in southeast Alabama until midday on Monday. And we will note again, in Alabama, we've just got these little isolated showers and storms about, and we technically have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for parts of eastern Franklin, northwestern Lawrence, eastern Colbert counties. But quite frankly, that storm looks clearly sub-severe. It kind of flared briefly, but it's gone back downhill. We're not going to have the really good dynamic support for severe storms for a while. But again, back to the modeling. This is what the radar could look like at midnight tonight. The band of storms coming into northwest Alabama in the Tennessee Valley. This would be tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. The storms coming into Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Gadsden. This is 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. You can see the slow progression. This thing is in no hurry as a wave of low pressure moves along the front. Showers pushing down into southeast Alabama. And even Monday at midday, at noon, it's still raining over parts of south and southeast Alabama. But in terms of the timing for the greatest chance of the heavier storms, and understand for these windows, it could rain before the window and after the window. But this is where you've got the greatest chance of heavier storms that might be severe for the Tennessee Valley, northwest Alabama, 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. Then for Tuscaloosa, Anniston, Gadsden, Birmingham, Clanton, Demopolis, Prattville, 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. Montgomery, south and east, 11 a.m. until 9 p.m. And remember, there's a flood watch in effect for the northern two-thirds of the state. The county's in green on that map. And again, technically a tornado watch up in Colbert, Lauderdale, and Franklin, but the big storms will not be in there until much later tonight. And that one little isolated storm where it's prompted this severe thunderstorm warning, that's just an isolated storm that would not have any chance of producing a tornado. And there's a look at that, again, that storm that's over eastern Franklin. And listen, if you're in Phil Campbell, sure, you got thunder, lightning, and maybe some creepy-looking clouds, but that doesn't make a storm severe. You've got to have 58-mile-per-hour winds or 1-inch diameter hail for it to be technically severe. So that's it. We're going to wrap this up here, and we'll be watching things very carefully. And should we need to go live for tornado warnings, if it's out of the Birmingham TV market, it will be here on the James Spann YouTube or channel or Facebook page. If it happens to be within the Birmingham TV market, will be on the ABC 3340 YouTube channel and Facebook page. So the advice is to follow both of them, and that way, if we need to go live, you can watch us that way. A lot of people ask, how do we watch on a Roku or whatever device you've got plugged up to your TV? The best thing to do is just to use the YouTube app. Everybody's got a YouTube app, and just follow James Spann. And a lot of you are watching this on YouTube right now, and ABC 3340. And we will be watching very carefully, and we are very anxious to get to next week when the weather calms down. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Have a great evening, and we will be talking soon if need be. Thanks again.